In Edo State, Okpebolo tags opponents, baby politicians. Dissociate from Gandaje's endorsement, North Central to state chairman. LP's crisis, child's play, APC's PDP's worse, OB. And finally, Kwankwaso's presidential ambition, Mirage, Lukman. We will take a short break now, and when we come back, I will introduce my guest and we will dive right into the conversation. Stay with us.
Every day, our lives are changed by history.
We are one people, all of us.
Leaders, politics.
Nobody's ambition is what's the blood.
I have fought very firmly.
Natural occurrence, war, and the world economy.
I belong to everybody, and I belong to nobody.
Atn covers it all on Atn Politics today.
Many thanks for staying with us. Joining me on the program today are Barrister Livin Gifton Jamala, a political analyst, and Mr. Alozie King, also a political analyst. You're very welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
A pleasure. Okay, and on to our stories. Dissociate from Gandaje's endorsement, North Central to state chairman. The North Central Congress, APC, Forum has asked state chairman of the party from the region to dissociate themselves from the recent vote of confidence passed on the national chairman of the party, Abdullahi Gandaje, adding that the vote of confidence which the state chairman of the party passed on Gandaje last Tuesday is not in the interest of the North Central or party in general. The forum's chairman, Alhaji Saleh Mandog Zazaga, while disclosing this to journalists in Jos, the Plateau State capital, said the North Central Forum, along with various leaders and chieftains of the APC from the region, had intensified the push for the zoning of the national chairmanship position of the party to the region, owing to its contribution to the progress of the party and its victory in 2023 elections. Zazaga, who was also a member of the Presidential Campaign Council in the last election, pointed out that apart from the strong contribution of the North Central to the development and sustenance of the APC over the years, as well as the tremendous support it gave to the emergence of President Bola Tinubu as the president. The region has also delivered 5 governors for the APC out of the 6 states in the region. He added that while they are pushing for the chairmanship position of the party to be zoned to the North Central, it is unreasonable that the party's state chairman from the region would be part of any arrangement or decision to pass a vote of confidence on the embattled national chairman, Abdullahi Ganduje. Zazaka called on all the party chieftains, members, as well as governors from the North Central to support their mission of clinching the national chairmanship position. Interesting one here. We will agree that the national chairmanship position of the APC has had quite a tussle there. Different rank from different quarters, and of course we also saw how Ganduje, 2 high courts from the same state gave 2 different rulings, one opposing the suspension and another upholding the suspension. But the focus here is that the North Central has called on state party chairmen to dissociate themselves from the endorsement given to Ganduje by party statement, adding that they are acting, that's more like an anti-party activity, or rather an activity that is not in the interest of the zone. Now, we also understand that the chairmanship position, the national chairmanship position, is supposed to be given to the North Central, as is their rightful position. Of course, owing to the constitution of the party, as well as some other support that has been highlighted by the zone, which they have given to the president. I mean, for a zone to have produced 5 presidents, five governors, rather, I beg your pardon, 5 governors. I mean, that goes a long way to say how much of a support and, of course, quality candidate that the zone actually has for the party. So, coming to the North Central, asking the state chairman to dissociate themselves from the endorsement of Ganduje, do you think that it is apt or inapt for the North Central to do that? And do you also think that it is also apt or inapt for the state chairman to endorse, to pass a vote of confidence on Ganduje, seeing that, you know, that is not, that position is supposed to go to the North Central? I'll start with you, Barrister.
Thank you, Gloria. I think one thing we should be asking ourselves is, why do we venture into politics? And that is the fact that we want to also be among those who distribute the wealth of the nation, of the state, of the local government, as the case may be. And that is the primary interest of every politician, especially on this part of the world we call Nigeria. Having said that, prior to the emergence of this Ganduje as the APC national leader, chairman, we trace ourselves back to the days of Adams Oshomole when the position was zoned to the south. It was micro-zoned to the south-south, wherein Oshomole emerged. After what led the exit of Oshomole, the position was also zoned to the north. And the north in itself micro-zoned it to the north central. And that's where we have the likes of Abdullahi Adamu, who was then the leader, the chairman of the national party, the APC, sorry, of the party APC. Now, because of some of the disagreement the present president had with the perceived body language of Adamu prior to the elections, they felt that Adamu never supported his candidature. And after the election, they somehow made him to resign, and the post ordinarily that has been zoned to the North Central should be given to the North Central. But all of a sudden, we had someone from the Northwest emerging as the chairman, national chairman of the party. And that, to me, is against the principles of equity, fairness, and justice. If you look at it very well, the Northwest also have some national leaders, especially in the National Assembly, the Senate, where they have the Deputy Senate President. It is from that same zone. And if you look at it very well, the North Central is being left in the sharing formula. And if what rightfully at the interim belongs to them, why do you take it far to another zone that already has been accommodated in other things? So for the state chairman of the North Central Zone, giving an endorsement to the present chairman, Ganduje, it's like going against the interests of the North Central. And I believe with the convener of that meeting who said they have to retract. Because if we must succeed as a zone, if we must succeed for the interests of our own people, then we shouldn't be speaking in discordant tones. We should have one voice and champion our cause together. But I think it is being more of a personal interest than that of the zonal interest, because the chairmen are thinking of how to retain their position, pledging allegiance to whoever at the moment on top, so their own interests can be safeguarded. But if we want to think for the general good, I believe the interests of the state chairman should not superpose that of the general interest of the region, and they have to backtrack if the North Central wants to. Because the only position left now for them to take is that of the chairman, which by their own party constitution has been zoned to the North, and the North micro-zoned it to the North Central. So that is the position that is due them. Or if they must take it, aside the other politicking that comes into bear, they must speak in one voice. There shouldn't be a room for division, because the enemy will only thrive when there is a division in the family.
Okay, Mr. What's your take on this, Mr.
Fine. We
Alozie?
We will not jettison the fact that since Ganduje took over the position of the national party of APC, there are some, eyebrows that has raised from people, particularly from the North Central. Now, from what my friend Barrister said, when you come into APC, the constitution of APC, the position of the national chairman belongs, as at today, or from how they, run the party, goes to the North Central. So if they are demanding for such, is in a right direction. And when you see other people, endorsing Ganduje, I believe very well that in politics is something that has to do with interests. And interest of the people is more or less what some individual who will galvanize themselves to pursue one particular thing that, favor within that their group. So it calls for questioning. Now they know these individuals, this state chairman knew that this particular position is for the North Central. The question is, why are they now, endorsing a man who they know very well? Even from the party constitution, that position should have not been given to Ganduje in the first place. So it's something for me. I will support the call from Zazunga, who have granted this press demanding for what I think is very, very, very right. It's very, very right from the angle of the constitution of the party. It's very, very right from the position they are taking. Because if you look at how the various positions has been shared in the party and other things, you see that the North Central, particularly, there are some vacuums of positions that they are lacking in the structure of the party, and them demanding for this is the right thing for them to do. So those who are calling or those who are supporting the continuation of that of the Ganduje, I think what they are doing is inimical with the constitution of the party. What they are doing is inimical with the general acceptance of the people. They should retract forthwith.
Okay, so aside the aspect of personal interest, which one could say hold sway in the decision of the state party chairman, many people are of the opinion that, having been charged with corruption and other charges, right, which is the reason for the suspension of Ganduje, now he's been given a vote of confidence. Many people are of the opinion that, this is like endorsing corruption, right?
Okay.
Because Ganduje has not been able to clear his name from that. And so if the state party chairman passes the vote of confidence on him, it's like they are well players in that corruption. It's like, trying to either cover their corrupt practices or trying to avoid going down with Ganduje as well. What do you make of this? Let me start with Mr. Alozie.
The issue is, Ganduje issue has come up with so many allusions from people, both from all over Nigeria. It's Ganduje chairmanship and his reign as the APC chairman has raised so many discussions in the public space. Fine. Ganduje has an issue first from his ward. He was suspended from the ward. According to the party constitution, you will first be suspended from your ward. They suspended him from the ward. From the ward level, even there was a court judgment that served as such to the same regard. But up to now, such those judgments and the clarity from the ward, no person has come to give another perspective as regarding to what that led to this. And for me, which I think those exercises still remain and still stand still. Now, if you ask me, is it that the people who are doing this is endorsing corruption? In Nigeria, until you are proven guilty for a competent court of jurisdiction, that is when you have the right to, name person that this person is corrupt regarding on this from so.
But we could see, it was clear, even, on video, that this man engaged in some corruption practices. And I repeat, he wasn't, or he hasn't been able to clear his name. I stand to be corrected if anything like that happened. But so far, as I know, he wasn't able to clear his name. Yet again, a vote of confidence has been passed on him. So what does that imply?
If I will butt in here the circumstance, let's make some certain things clear. First, the issue that has to do with the ex parte order, confirming the alleged suspension of Ganduje has been vacated by the court.
Okay.
And so that has been set aside.
Okay.
Therefore, cannot hold sway again in the circumstance. Two, the issue of corruption predates the appointment of Ganduje. You remember? Ganduje was seen, while he was a governor, receiving some dollars, when they call the Ganduje dollar. There's a way they look at it, and now, so if you look at that incident is mere allegation. Like he said, Section 36 gives off the presumption of innocence until you are proven. I'm not to claim my name. The person who alleges should prove. And therefore, if you allege that I am corrupt, take me to a court of competent jurisdiction and try me, let the court make that pronouncement. How the judiciary function, or how our court function, is that even if you are a judge, you caught me in the act, stealing a particular object, and I am brought to your court. It is not within the court to come down to the arena and say, yes, I was there when he was stealing, or when he was caught stealing that. It is left for the prosecutor to prove the elements of stealing. And if the prosecutor fails to prove the elements of stealing, the hands of the court will be tied, though he was there when you stole those things allegedly. So the court cannot come into the arena to say, no, I saw you. Although the prosecution has failed to prove the elements of stealing, I will still convict you because I was there in the circumstance. So Ganduje ordinarily ought not to, coming from their own angle, that he needs to clear himself. No, I believe and I'm aware that there is a prosecution already ongoing in the Kano State, where the Kano State governor has instituted some criminal proceedings against him for alleged act of corruption. Now, he has not appeared in that, but let's allow the natural course of justice to have its course. If the court comes out tomorrow to say, yes, he has been found guilty, and therefore sentence him to judge, the Administration of Criminal Justice Law allows that a party be tried in absence if there are reasonable grounds to believe that is evading the service of this person. Okay. So if you look at that, until Ganduje is pronounced one way or the other, we cannot say in Nigeria that mere allegation will make some persons to step down. If you want to stand by it, you see it in Western world. But Western world, they have their own ideologies are different from that of Nigeria. If not, even our president will not be standing for election. Talk more of being the president of the election, because there are so many allegations of corrupt practices against him. Our Senate president has some level of corrupt charges against him. Okay. Virtually about 90% of those in government has one allegations of corrupt practices against them. Will you ask them to step down into circumstances if they have not been proved guilty?
So
of those
in other
offenses?
words, you're saying that the state party chairman, could be working against the interest of the zone.
Yes,
Yes.
that is. It's more of a personal,
But
thing.
they are not exactly endorsing corruption as many.
No, no, no.
I will not see it in that light.
Okay. All right then, let's get to our next story. A former House of Representatives member, Honorable Sylvester Ogbaga, who represented the Abakaliki Izi Federal Constituency of Ebonyi State from 1999 to 2023, has resigned from the People's Democratic Party. He announced this in a resignation letter dated April 24, 2024, addressed to the chairman, PDP and Megu in Yigba ward, and copied to the local government area and the state chairman of the party. He said, "I am writing to officially inform you of my resignation from PDP. After a careful evaluation and consideration of the current political state of the party, I have to take a leave. I have remained a member of PDP since 1998 and have contributed my quota to the development of the party with huge sacrifices and support. It is with every sense of responsibility I want to emphasize that this is a personal decision. I thank you for your unique leadership style and support." He wished the party well in her future endeavors. In less than 4 days, if I'm not mistaken, 2 founding members of the PDP, so to say, have resigned. A few days ago, Iheazu resigned. Now, another founding member is resigning. 2 things come to play. Now, one of the reasons the other founding member gave was the fact that the party seems to be working in variance to his beliefs, and also the fact that the party cannot produce or stand as a strong opposition to the ruling party, hence his resignation. That is also similar to the current resignation of this current member who's resigning right now. Now, this begs the question. One is, why exactly are they resigning? Now, you know, if you say that the party is weak, you're complaining that they cannot stand as a strong opposition to either the ruling party or any other party, then who is going to make it a strong opposition? If everyone defects, then what happens? The other party that seems to be the strength, seems to, you know, be the strongest opposition, as it were, why did they emerge as a strong opposition? There are people who are putting in resources. These parties are made of people. And the larger the number, the larger the strength, the larger the resources that will be invested in that party. So if we resign because the party appears to be weak, I mean, what is the underlying factor that could really propagate this resignation? Could it be that maybe they are no longer relevant in the party, or their contributions are no longer heard in the party, or they are working and some other persons are benefiting? Or what exactly could be playing here? What can we trace to be the cause for these resignations? Barrister, what's your take?
I want to take you back, Gloria. During the days of our former president, Olusegun Obasanjo, from 1999 to 2007, where the PDP held power at the central and several states of the Federation. PDP exhibited a high level of internal disciplinary mechanisms, and therefore they were able to discipline erring members, especially with regards to what we call anti-party activities. But since the PDP lost election in 2015, there seemed to be they seem to have left that direction, and it seemed to be anyone can behave the way he or she feels. Now, let's take our mind to 2023, prior to the presidential election. What led the PDP into the quagmire they found themselves is because of one or two persons feeling dissatisfied that their ambitions were not fulfilled on the platform of the party, and therefore they want to bring down the entire house, the entire roof that houses everybody in the family. Now, if you look at it, PDP in their 98th section of the NEC meeting, held sometimes in April 18, failed to take some drastic decisions. Decisions as to make the party formidable, make the party bigger than every other personal ambition, every other individual. And by what they resolved from that day, it was more or less, like I said in the sister station, more or less a bar meeting. Nothing concrete came out of that meeting internally. Because if the party must go forward, looking forward to winning an election in 2027, they must have to rejig themselves and come up with a very united, formidable force to stand as an opposition with the APC-led government. Now, PDP has been overtaken by some external forces, forces who operate outside but have their molds within the party. And it seems to be that the voice of those external forces are taking precedence over those who have genuine interest for the party. When Emeka Ihedioha left, resigned his position, I believe that is one of the founding fathers we were making reference to.
Yeah, Ihedioha.
Yes, I said there are so many other persons that will leave because the NEC held on the 18th of April failed to take some drastic decisions. And they are in that NEC, they endorsed and confirmed the acting capacity of Damagun as the national chairman of the party to conduct congresses for their NEC August 24th NEC meeting. Now, politics, if you allow those persons to conduct elections, whose allegiance are not, their allegiance is to external forces and not to the interests of the party, what becomes of the executive that will be electing from ward, local government, and states that will preempt the outcome of the NEC meeting? And so if you look at it, the foundation that the PDP so far wants to lay against that of the NEC meeting that will metamorphose to a national congress is that of selling out the party to external forces. Let's come to Rivers State. Before the NEC meeting, there are some state executives that their tenure have elapsed, and the national came out with a directive that for those states, local government, and wards that their tenure have elapsed, that they are giving them a 3-month window to act. Those same persons, they were unequivocal when they said same persons, should act in acting capacity as a caretaker committee, pending when the congresses will be done. And the time frame is 3 months. Some days later, a list were paraded on the media that the new list stands to be the state working committee for Rivers State. But in that new list, we find out that some names were removed, some names were inputted into it, and some protests were made. What the National Working Committee did was to say they have heard the complaints from the Governors Forum, and that at the interim, that they will take a second look at it. Yesterday, we are told another of court, expert again, has been given confirming that list. So if you look at it from all the activities of PDP, it means a ship heading to a place of doom. If you are on board a ship and you are told that the ship is heading towards the Bermuda Triangle, what will you do in the circumstance? Is it not to find a way of leaving that ship? And that is exactly what these members are doing. But my only concern for this House of Rep member is that the Constitution provides that you, being an elected member, must remain in that political party until the expiration of your period. And there are just few windows for you to have the right to defect. That is where there is division in the party. And the Supreme Court has laid in some authorities what amounts to a division in the political party.
But he's not defecting. He resigned.
He resigned, and you cannot sit in the National Assembly partyless because we are not running an independent candidature. Candidates are sponsored by a political party. That seat you are occupying belongs to the political party.
Yes.
And so you cannot sit without a party. If you are resigning from the PDP, it is expected that in the next few days, you announce your political party. That is a defection. And so what becomes the provision of the law with respect to a member defecting? That is my only concern for him. But if he has decided to look into another greener land for him to pass to, there is no problem, but there are consequences. That
Mr.
is my only
Lozier,
concern for him.
what's your take?
For me, I don't get it when people are resigning from party because of, one disagreement or the other. Because if you ask me, I know very well that the squabble in the People's Democratic Party, I expected the BOT meeting, the NEC meeting that was held, that was on the 18th of this month, would have gone a long way to resolve some grievances and the countenance of some members who have registered their grievances to the party, and some persons who have speak out their dismay on the leadership of the Damagu. You recall there is one, not only this House of Assembly member, national member that resigned, the light of Meka Ihedioha, even the person who's taken it in a strong turn to condemn what the acting national chairman of the PDP, a federal lawmaker, Ugochinyere, was the one who was on it, saying that he has personally approached the national chairman, giving in certain instances with glaring evidences on party members who are involved in anti-party. Up till the time he wrote to him, till this date, we are talking that the chairman has not invited these persons, he has not questioned them, there is no attachment of any view, to such. So you now come to the realization that the party acting chairman, you now ask question, because in politics, everything is centered on structure and who bring you to the political party. You see that the other part of persons who, are resigning from the party, from the way I see it, they have seen that the structure of the party, resulting from the list of the caretaker committee, resulting from some other, changes that have been made in the party is no longer in their favor. You see that those persons who are now resigning are resigning on the ground that they have lost confidence on the structure of the party, they have lost confidence on the chairmanship of the Damagu. So unfortunately, I expected the party on what happened on the 18th, being the NEC meeting they did, to look into the complaint of the majority people of this party. Had it been that they, put in cognizance on those recommendations, those grievances registered by especially the 60 House of Representative members from the People's Democratic Party, these things, they just jettison their grievances, the NEC do not even look at it at anywhere. They pass vote of confidence on him. So this has resulted to this, people defecting from the party to the other. And in later days to come, more people will defect from the PDP, because the structure in which the party is being run now is against majority of them, their own political philosophy, is against their political philosophy. And again, the structure that the Damagu itself is running the party is not even entangling with what the party constitution is saying. The former publicity secretary of the party, the other day, I heard him, he was saying that they are making a strong agitation that the chairmanship of the party should zone to the North Central for them to complete the tenure of the IU. This matters was brought on the table of the NEC meeting, but all these things was not looking to. So this, has resurrected these issues of, resignation here and there.
Mr. Lozier, we've got your thoughts on that. The 2023 Labour Party presidential candidate Peter Obi on Wednesday said that the party would overcome its internal crisis and get stronger. According to him, the internal crisis in the LP is feeble compared to the problems the ruling All Progressives Congress and the People's Democratic Party are grappling with. The LP is striving with an ongoing attempt by the Nigerian Labour Congress to unseat its national chairman, Julius Abure, and take it over. Meanwhile, there is Lamidi Akpankpa, a factional leader who is contending for power with Abure. Obi, who addressed journalists in Abuja on Wednesday, said, and I quote, "I can tell you that the issue will be solved. Let me tell you, the abnormalities you imagined in the Labour Party is a child's play when compared to what is happening in the other two parties, APC and PDP. It is far worse. but it is something that can be dealt with. We are dealing with a system. Every system has its flaws and it can be managed. Yes, things went wrong, but I can assure you we will deal with it. It is sad that we are always concerned about only parties. We are not even concerned with what ought to be our main concern for now, which is the future of the people. For now, let us focus on the poor people of Nigeria. That is where my focus lies. Two things he highlighted here. The fact that there is a rancor amongst the three parties. And I mean, I don't know what coincidence it is, if at all it's a coincidence, but the three parties seem to be having glitches and, you know, a tussle with their national chairmanship. It was Damagun, Ganduje, Abure, you know. So the three parties seem to be undergoing, you know, some internal crisis that have been rocking the party. We have also seen defections from the PDP and LP to APC and vice versa. So he highlighted two things. One is the conflict in the parties, and then the second is where the focus of these parties should be, the focus of these stakeholders. Rather than focusing on the party, they should focus on the people and their future. Now, let's start with the conflicts in these parties. What do you think, starting with PDP, seeing how that certain, you know, founding members are defecting from the party and how that the party is heading in its operations and system, where do you think the party could be heading? What do you think could be the future of the PDP when compared to APC and LP as oppositions? Barrister.
I think if I to take the words of Peter will be very serious. He said the labor crisis is child's play compared to that of APC and the PDP. But one thing is that experience gives one an advantage of how to handle things. That's why I say what an elder seeing, and a child, even though he stands, may not be able to see it. Now, the PDP has been a product of from 1998 till now. Labour Party has been in existence, but has not known until the Obi came in sometimes in 2022, 23, and electrified the party and brought it into limelight. The APC came as coming together of strange fellows. So that's why apart from when they won the election, from the day they won the election, sometimes in 2015, till now, it has been conflict of interest of these various sub-units that came together to produce the APC. But for Labour Party, it seems to be only one man. That is the influence of Obi, the acceptance of Obi by the populace has given Labour prominence. But they lack experience on how to manage internal squabbles. And that I can give it to the PDP. PDP, by way of experience, has a way of coming back, looking at the past, looking at the present, and projecting a future for themselves. If you look, the chairmanship of PDP has always moved from one trouble to the other. At the end of the day, they come up. Although it has affected their fortunes in some of the elections because of these somehow external forces coming in. If not for one or two persons bringing themselves to be the Judas of the PDP, having themselves to be used by the opposition to rubbish the PDP. PDP had a better chances of clinching the presidential election in 2015, and that was how Peter Obi left to the Labour Party, because it was the influence of some unbearing persons in the PDP that made Peter Obi to leave the PDP and form a new family for himself, albeit a family that was existing though unknown. Now, if you look at it, PDP had that experience of resolving their internal conflicts. APC is trying to learn. Because they are trying to learn, yes. They are not yet mature enough like the PDP.
Why do you say so?
I say so because if you look at how their national leadership has been exiting, it seems there is never a uniform arrangement that this one will serve out his tenure and leave. It has always been from one trouble to the other. Apart from, what is his name, the former Edo State man, Oyegun, who led us his tenure. There is no other political national chairman of the APC that has led his tenure. It has always been from one problem or the other. Same with this, what's his name?
Damagu.
No, Ganduje. There is also pressure on him to resign because of alleged corrupt practices. Those are just mere reasons why people are making him to bring in their preferred candidate. But for Labour, they have to be very careful, because what the politicians are projected, especially that of the APC, to the effect that Labour came in sometimes in 2022, 2023, and look at the wide acceptance that they got prior to the election. And even the election, they performed credibly well. If you look at the existence, how they were able to galvanize themselves, show themselves to the public and the acceptance. So now, if you allow them to exist and have that same strength from 2024 to 2027, the acceptance will be enormous. And therefore, no political party will withstand that acceptance. So it is better to cause a confusion among themselves. And now the Apapa group came in. The Apapa group seemed to have been tamed by decisions of court. They have now used another sect, which is the Labour Union. Ordinarily, that has nothing to do with politics. They have pepped into crumbling the Labour Party. And so they must look inward and ask themselves, if we are a party driven by one man's ambition, or a party driven by a few who have decided to also sell the party out to another person. But that internal mechanisms of resolving their problems, Labour Party, they lack it.
Okay, Mr. Alozie, what do you think could have spurred or could be backing this statement from Peter Obi? I mean, saying LP's crisis it's child's play. I mean, what is child's play compared to PDP and APC?
You know, Peter Obi is a household name in Nigeria politics. And secondly, he has been in the political landscape of Nigeria. He understands what is going on in PDP. And also, he knows some persons who are, the political front players in the APC. So when he said what is happening in AP is a child's play, he's speaking from a point of experience. Because if he asks me, he has, he has journeyed on these parties, both the APC and the PDP. So that statement for me, he's speaking from experience. But where I have issue, what that gripped my concern from the statement Peter Obi is making, if you watch what happened 2023, breaking 220 and 2023, you see that Labour Party gathered a momentum that till today I am still making research to know what happened. You see, Nigerians came out, the first time I see Nigerian youth come out with their PVCs to vote to change the narrative of bad governance and all the rest. So if I am to, advise Peter Obi at this point, I would tell him that don't see it as a child's play of a thing, because if you have a party, for you to succeed first, you must hold your leadership. And once your leadership is shaking, the party cannot go or meet its target or objective. So Peter Obi should come back to the drawing board, call those who are, aggrieved on whatever there may be the agitation from these persons who are the light of Aburi and others, who are saying, I still remain the national party chairman. These people are saying the NSC has rights in the party, and this has rights in this one, on that, the other one. So I expect Peter Obi, having been the front liner of that of the Labour Party, to come up with a resolution looking into all the whole parties, what that may cause their grievances, look for a way for them to come to a conclusion on how to solve this issue.
Okay, so quickly, before we go, our last story here. A former National Vice Chairman of the All Progressives Congress, Salihu Lukman, has described the presidential ambition of Rabiu Kwankwaso, former governor of Kano and 2023 presidential candidate of the New Nigeria's People Party, as a mirage. He said the ambition of Senator Kwankwaso is to become the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, where he is today. I can confidently say that it will be like a mirage for him to be the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. It will take years of building and negotiation across the country, which may outlive his lifespan. And if we are to fast-track it and open our party for him to come back in such a way that we renegotiate his relationship with Dr. Ganduje and across the state, we also renegotiate relationships between leaders and bring in new forces, Nigerians are even likely to have more confidence in the party. Barrister, what do you make of this?
First, I've looked at Kwankwaso as one of those who have some national acceptance, although his message has not been preached to the hinterlands, but I think he has a propensity of being accepted nationwide. Now, Lukman, acting God in the capacity in this circumstance is what I don't understand. Yes, you cannot say that the ambition, everyone has a right to be ambitious,
okay.
But it is not within your confines to define how far my own ambition should be. Lukman telling Kwankwaso that his presidential ambition is more or less a mirage is what I really don't understand, whether it lies within his own hands to do so. Now, he said that ambition can only be accomplished if he joins back the APC. And by doing so, there must be a reconciliation between the Ganduje and himself.
You know, he also highlighted years of building.
Yes.
Years of building capacity, relationship, and all of that, which, according to him, Kwankwaso lacks.
I do not think Kwankwaso lacks their years of building capacity. For you to become a president in Nigeria is not about personal capacity. And that is the platform has a means of also making you achieve that purpose. Now, if you look at Buhari before he emerged president in 2015, prior 2015 election, Buhari has been scoring over 8 million, 9 million votes in all the elections he has contested. So he needed a platform with little acceptance. And that was when APC came in and boosted his 8 million. They already projected that this man, whether he comes from a mushroom party, there must be 8 million votes. Persons who believed in his person. And therefore, they needed a platform that will augment the personality, the capacity he has built for himself for the past years. So that is what Kwankwaso need in the circumstance. NNPC, yes, has not gotten that national acceptance. NNPP, yes, have not gotten that national acceptance. And the name Kwankwaso, like I said, the capacity is still building. But if his ambition can only be fulfilled if he joins back, rejoins remember he was one of the founding members of the APC. Due to some disagreement between himself and the person who is sponsored to be the governor, his preferred candidate in Kano State, and made him left the APC. And if Lukman is of the view that his presidential ambition can only be fulfilled when he joins the APC, then he's acting more of a god who sees the future and not of the present. Yes.
All right, thank you very much, gentlemen. Barrister, thank you so much for being on the program today. This is how much we can take today. Mr. Alozie, thank you so much. It's nice having you both on the conversation.
Thank you for inviting us.
Thank you for inviting us.
My pleasure.